We love old cemeteries and churchyards, so come with us as we explore these places for the past. So this is the cemetery according to Google, and it's got our favourite little sign on the door, and the first thing you see when you walk past that is a war grave over here to P. Hamilton of the Australian Army Medical Corps. That's he's a long way from home. Died in 1919, age 30. I'm guessing that's Australian. It's either Australian or Austrian. I think it's probably Australian. Ian, shut up. You're gibbering again. This is all quite modern though. I wonder where the old bit is. There's some Moffats and Euphemia. There's a Euphemia! You can't beat finding a Euphemia. It's probably my favourite name. Let's go and look at the War Memorial next, because it is there right in front of us, and behind it there's a very impressive tombstone. But again, oh right, that is the wall. There is not an old bit. Let's have a look at this. This is obviously 1900s-ish, mid-1900s. There are things here up to like 2000 and odd, so it is, this is all quite late. In memory of those who fell in the war 1914 to 1918, and there is quite a big list of names from not a very big place. And there will be a Second World War bit on it as well, which we always like to make sure that we catch out. Yes, on the back, also in World War II, which we weren't planning on having because World War I was the war to end all wars. And there's a smaller list of names from the Second World War. Okay, so there is not an old bit here. That's unfortunate. We'll have to go and see if we can find out where the old burial ground is. But first we're going to go and look at that big fairy up there. It's an angel, it's not a fairy, but it has got a strange star right in the middle of its forehead. Anybody in the UK watching this who remembers Citizen Smith? So some of it looks, is this older? Well, it's not old. There must be an old bit here because it's an old place. Oh, what's happened to old Agnes's name? It looks like it's had an extra letter carved in it. James Govan, and that's still 1900s next to it, 1925. Next to that, killed on active service in 1942. Yeah, so this is all 1900s. There is nothing older than about 1920 that I've seen so far. Okay, let's see what we can find. Let's go and ask Google what it knows. This is why the quality of the sandstone on your memorial matters, because that is John Gow from 1922. And next door is no idea, because it's all worn away completely. That's just time and erosion. And not even that much time, just 100 years. There's still Christmas decorations here and a wee Scotty Doug. Right, because the last person here that died in 2019. So that gravestone goes from Marion back in 1912 right down to Margaret Brown, who died in 2019, aged 96. We were going to leave and then I saw this. That's the distinctive shape of a Commonwealth war grave. So let's have a look at who this is for. This is for Warrant Officer McGuinness of the Royal Air Force, who died in 1946. And right opposite it, over here is one to Private Wilson of the Royal Scots, who died in the First World War in 1918. So hello Private Wilson. And a marker as a mark of esteem from the employees of the Westvale Colliery, Queensland, Australia, to William Dick. And again, that's from the 1930s. This is all 1900s. And on the way out I've just spotted one that I missed, so let's go and complete the set. There may be other ones dotted about, but I don't like driving past if I've actually seen it. So this is to a person from the Second World War, from the Royal Army Service Corps, L.H. Robertson's, Lance Corporal Robertson. Hello, Lance Corporal Robertson. When we put cemetery into Google, it was this one that it showed us, but this is all modern. There must be an old one round somewhere. And another look on Google showed us there was actually 3 cemeteries now. 2 of them looked nicely regimented and nicely organised, and the third one looked a bit like this. So, through the joys of Google Maps, we know there's a third cemetery in the area, and it's off a side road that you would never find if you weren't looking for it. It's just basically that little dirt track. But this is the most interesting one. This is the one that from the satellite looked very disorganised and higgledy-piggledy. Well, yeah, take a look at that. This is going to be really, really quite good, I think. Let's go and see who is there to see to start off with. Hello, this is from 1852. Their son Robert Gray from 1852. So we're straight back into the mid 1800s, 1870, 1850. That one's quite far gone. That one is completely gone. This one is aged 71 years, 1875, I think that says, something like that. This one is a bit better, and this is John Pettigrew and Isabella Sim, his wife, in loving memory of their children, Alexander, who died aged 11, Anne and John, who died in infancy, there's that phrase again, and John and Isabella themselves, and their son, who made it to 33, and their daughter, who made it to 47, and their son, who died for all our Canadian viewers, and their son's James Sim Pettigrew, who died in Canada. Why do people go to Canada and die? Canada, what are you doing with your visitors? And unusually for a graveyard, they've got a historical aspect actually to it. They want people to come and look at the history. So there is the bloodstone. You put your fingers in the skull on that and they come out covered in blood. It's a red mineral deposit inside the stone. And there's a stone with the oldest inscription, which we're going to go and find, obviously, and the oldest gravestone, which we obviously will also go and find. So let's go and start our little adventure in St Ninian's old churchyard. So we're going to go up here first of all and see if we can find the bloodstone. Now the picture that they've got on the sign, as you saw, is not exactly brilliant, but we'll see if we can figure it out. We're looking for a wee stone with a skull, and then a flat stone, and a bigger stone at the end of the flat stone. So let's go and see what we can see, and that is the remains of the 16th century church, although from that sign back there we know that this place goes back to the 11th century, so it's quite an old and very historic site. And I was so busy looking at the big church that I didn't notice that this goes all the way down there. So let's go and see what we can see. Now I think that stone in front of us is the one with the oldest inscription, but let's go and see if we can see if it is or not. Well, first thing we see is a skull and crossbones up the top there. Second thing we see is 1663, so we're right back in the mid 1600s. Let's have a look. H-E-A-H-E. Oh, here lies the body of James Hamilton, who departed this life 1651. Son to James Hamilton and Elizabeth Williamson. Oh, I can't read that, but I was doing so well. Yeah, there's more words at the bottom there that I can't actually make out. Let's see if we can see anything else. Oh, okay. 3 flowers and a heart. I've never seen that before. That must be the family, not heirloom, the word that I used last time I tried this. Coat of arms. That's the family coat of arms. And on the other side of that stone, it's all white. The moss there helps you because the letters here, it's over the top, but there's odd words you can make out. In thy eyes, something, 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 and self, and mine eyes shall, and then it's lost under this. That's okay, you've got to concede that is quite a cool gravestone. And leading over just above it, there is Park Hall, Mary Fram, spouse to Matthew King, who died 1829, so that's quite a lot newer than the one next to it. And this one here is from 1822, Robert King. So it's a Robert King and a Matthew King, spouses buried side by side. I do hope they got on. Oh, and here's a wee Masonic thing, erected by the Brethren of Lodge Union 244 in memory of Brother James Todd, 1908. But behind that, more interestingly from our point of view, is a symbol that we now recognise. That is a blacksmith. So the gentleman under here is a blacksmith, and just down here in the mud, if you can see it, which you probably just about can't, 1694. So again, we're back in the 1600s. That'll do me just fine. Right, we will have a look at some more of these. Oh, there's a heart and crossbones. I've not seen that before either. It's a heart and crossbones and PMIM. I wonder if that's a married couple that are buried here, and it's, you know, instead of a skull and crossbones, they've got the wee heart. That's a very nice touch. Let's head over this way and see if we can find this flippin' bloodstone. This always looks like I'm making it up and I've filmed it and this is like take 3, but I think this is it here, because on the picture that we saw at the gate, there's a big tall stone, and there's a big tall stone to in memory of his wife Marion Thompson, who died 1887, sorry. And then there's the flat stone, so I think that might be the bloodstone there. I'm going to put my fingers in its eyes, and if they come out covered in blood, I'll probably squeak and then think, nah, that's a bit disappointing, come on. Now, if I had a sense of humour, I'd get some red ink and I'd fill that with red ink to make the next person that did that go, eek! As well as being a bloodstone, which is interesting in itself, this stone is from 1679 and it is to a Covenanter martyr. Now, as we've mentioned before in Scottish graveyards, Covenanters did not believe that the king was the head of the church. They thought that God was the head of the church, which was such a radical idea that they were persecuted and in many cases murdered for it. Yeah, so there's the bloodstone and the tabletop and the big one that gives it away, and then walking past that there's this, which is two rather large skulls and two single bones and memento mori. As you know, that means remember you are going to die. So let's have a wee look on this and see if we can see any dates. Oh yeah, 1740, so we're in the 1700s now, with some very ornate, very fancy script on that. That must have been quite difficult to do, to carve that curve with your little chisels and stuff. That's quite impressive, quite a great skill. This one next to it has little script at the top, and the inscriptions get deeper towards the bottom, obviously done in a different hand. But does it give us a date? 1821, so we're getting more modern. Well, 1820, comparatively more modern. And if you look up there, the sun has just come out and it stopped raining, so that means it's time to get the drone out, I think, for a wee look from above. Let's have a look at this gravestone over here though. This is erected to the memory of beloved and lamented wife who died as she had lived, at peace with God and man, on the 15th day of April 1822, when she was 29. And over here, erected, I think there's a big bit missing in the middle here. I think that's like the top and the bottom, and the middle bit's gone. And Christ bids all believers trust their bodies shall rise from the dust with glorious and immortal forms and leave corruption to the worms. Okay, that's cheerful. There must be, there it is there. That is the rest of it. So yeah, I was right. That is the bottom bit and the top bit, and that bit there should be in the middle. So the man with those nice words is John Walker, poet. Never seen poet on somebody's gravestone. That is quite cool. There's quite a few in here that have got the top bit and the bottom bit stacked up, like that one there, and the middle bit on its own behind it. But for people that like a bit of proper old-fashioned iconography, I've just spotted this, which could be one of the coolest gravestones I think we have ever seen. How is that for atmosphere? Skull and crossbones and moss and shadows and stuff. I don't know who you were, but you've got an amazing headstone. Right, as I said before, it's time to get the drone up for a wee look, and then we'll look around more of these headstones. But it's going to start raining again quite soon, so let's do this first, and then we can go and look at gravestones in the rain, which just gives it extra ambience. Okay, we're going to head back down to the bottom corner and work our way up, past erected by Archibald Boog in the memory of Rebecca Watson from, let's see if we can find from 28th of something 1814. So they are died in 1814, old Rebecca. Let's head down the hill and see what else we can find. And that's quite grand, isn't it? William Strang Murray from 1901. That side is mostly gone, but you can get back to 1880, aged 11 months. Yeah, so this is an old stone that was used from the mid 1800s up until the early 1900s. Very impressive, and sadly very worn. But let's keep going down past some even older stuff to the bottom corner, from whence we will work our way back up. So there's all the stuff on the hill there. This is about the grandest stone I can see in the place. That is sacred to the memory of James Walker of Woodlands. He was a merchant in Stonehouse who died in 1880, and also Marion, his wife. There's a few Marions here, it must have been a popular name. Died 1860, their daughter who died 1820 age 4, and their son who died 1820 age 7, and their youngest daughter who died at Kilcreggan Roseneath. Must be a place in Scotland. Roseneath is definitely a place in Scotland. 1860, aged 38 years, and their son. Yeah, they've got quite a lot of family on that stone. Right, let's see what is further down here. Let's go to the very, very far corner and say hello to whoever is down here. There's a self-assembly gravestone. You can have the bottom bit, and the middle bit, and the top bit, and the urn. It's an IKEA gravestone. Probably arrives flat packed, and this is from 1891. So although it's in bits, it's a comparatively recent stone. So here we are right down in the bottom corner. This is the furthest away gravestone, and it is another Marion Thompson and Robert Shearer, in memory of their children Thomas, who died aged 17 days, and Thomas, who died aged 10 years. They must have reused the name. And then James, who died aged 7 years. And from here it is uphill all the way back up to the church. So let's go back up and see what else we can find that is interesting. Well, interesting to me. It's all very nice and very peaceful, apart from a big golden retriever that keeps running across to say hello. It's quite a cute golden retriever, so we'll let it off. There's one that has just got the crossbones. Has it got a date? No, the date bit is now underground. But let's go up this way towards the big obelisky thing and see what we can see over there. This is William Hamilton, in memory of Helen Dalglish, who died at Kittymuir, aged 66, and that was in 1898. And their children, who were 3.5, 2.5 and 9 months. And over here we have got, now I've just been trying to read this is take 4 or 5. It is the burying place of James Jack, or James Lack maybe, James Jack, and Elizabeth Walker, and instead of having all the children listed, it's got and their family from 1816. That probably saves money on mason's bills for getting all the kids added to the gravestone. And we commented on the name Marion, which we haven't seen much anywhere else, but we see quite a lot here. And there's another one, Marion Patterson. Lots and lots of Marions about. Now I'll have to check this to make sure I'm not giving you duff information, but the oldest gravestone in the place is down here beside John Brown, and I think it might be this one here, because I think that is actually part of a very old tabletop gravestone, maybe a 12th century, 11th century tabletop gravestone that's been repurposed for whoever is under there. Next to that there is the winged soul. Skull, crossbones, a heart, which is not something that we've seen a lot in other places, so that's interesting. This place has got a lot of hearts, and the hourglass telling you that your time is limited, so use it wisely. Right, let's keep going up the hill. Yeah, the heart thing is not something we see anywhere else really, but we do see it quite a lot here, because just behind that one there's this one, which is older by the look of it. Again, a skull, a single bone, the hourglass, and the heart. And unfortunately, whatever the date on that is, it has sunk into the soil, so we can't see it. Right, next to it there's another stone set into the ground, which is well and truly gone. Oh, and another thing that is unusual here, not unique but unusual, that's another biblical verse quoted there. That is from the book of Job, that one. And I know that because obviously it says it down the bottom. Let's see if we can see any details on this. No. Not without a lawnmower. Any dates at all? Anything? No. Right, but next to that, moving swiftly on to something that I can read, that is John Hamilton of Bogside, who died in 1860. This one's quite nice because I've just spent 5 minutes trying to decipher it and I can't. But most of it says, here lies the corpse of John, now it's the next bit I can't see, John S.H. Shearer possibly? Of Kittymuir, who died the 15th of June 1739. I think that says Kitmuir possibly, but anyway, that is John from Kitmuir in 1759. This is a nice wee corner because they're all sheltered by this great big tree that so put the fear into me when I was flying the drone. Here's a wee interesting thing that you can form your own opinion on, but it says this is the burying place of John Muir, and I like the fact that D has been brought right round, and Catherine Shearer. And is that an S? Does that say she died or the died? I don't know if there's other S's on this stone that don't look like that. So Shearer, the died, she died July 1803, aged 68 years, and again a big flourish on the lettering there. That's really quite pretty. Anyway, this is the wee corner under that tree we were just looking at, so we can head up through it, and there's more. Oh, it's another Shearer. And then over here, this is quite detailed, isn't it? It's quite an intricate amount of carving on there with flowers and leaves and things. And this is J and T Hamilton, merchants from Stonehouse, in memory of their parents, and that is from 1868. Next to it is another Hamilton. This is the intended burying place of James Hamilton and Janet Lean, his spouse, and their family. If they're actually in here, don't know, but that was their intended burial place. There you are. Another phrase we've never seen before. A wee bit further up, this is another one with the possibly done by the same mason. I would have to check the dates to make sure that wasn't a ridiculous statement, but erected by George Pollock, squirrely, and with the D brought all the way round. Janet Wilson, in memory of their son who died in 1820. That's quite an old stone. I do like this. This is something. I wonder if one of these masons did it and then another mason saw it and copied it, or if it was the same guy. We'd have to check the dates, and I'm not going to because it's cold and damp. Another little stone with the standard hourglass and heart. Well, heart's the standard here. Hourglass, the heart, and the crossbones. In other places that wouldn't be a heart, that would be a skull. But here it's a heart. And behind that, there is the flying cherub on this rather nice tabletop, and beside that there's something with a symbol that I don't recognise. Let's see if we can see it close up. It's that thing there. It's like an M. It's a stylised letter M, possibly. There's nothing else on that. It looks like there was once white writing at the top, but it's not there anymore. So let's see if there's anything on the back. Nope, lots of lichen. Over here is John in memory of his beloved wife Isabella, who died in 1882. Right, and I think that's about it for this place. There are lots and lots of stones. Again, I could spend hours and hours talking about them, but I'm not going to. This is definitely the most interesting of the three, and a huge thank you to the person who mentioned this place in their comments, because otherwise we would never have found it. So thank you so much. It's taken us to another one of our favourite graveyards.